Alright, welcome back. New episode of Unfiltered. Got a little ambiance to set the mood and whatever you want to call this thing. I know it's an electrical circuit, that's a light. Whatever is supposed to be going on here. Anyway, that's probably actually off camera, but anyway. Really wanted to come back and talk today. If you've been living under a rock for the last 48 hours, you probably haven't heard that Kanye West was admitted to the hospital in Los Angeles for a psychiatric evaluation. Or, I forget, it was some way that another news publication put it, but I don't know who to believe. I know TMZ was the first person to report it last night, saying that he had been hospitalized. Earlier in the day, he had postponed the end of the St. Pablo tour. A tour that I was actually thinking about going to in December, but with kind of how the past few shows had gone, the ones in Sacramento and, even prior shows of that, where he cut sets early and, went on rants for most of them. To me, it's kind of not surprising to hear that Kanye is, I guess, I don't want to say in dire straits, because it's not really a dire situation. I mean, it's something that can be helped and something that can be, I don't know, it's something that is going to need medical attention. It's something that, he's going to have to really just chill out for a little bit. And it's like my friends have been putting it and saying, maybe he needs to take 6 months off. Maybe he needs to take a year off to rest, to enjoy North, to enjoy Saint, to, let his family life, kind of, I guess, come together more. And, for a guy like Kanye West to kind of now have to really admit, okay, there is an issue here. And as much as I know he's probably not going to want to, he has to do it. And, it's kind of like when Kid Cudi last month had this pretty much same episode. You kind of got to say, okay, alright, I'm going to stop, I'm going to get help, I'm going to, reevaluate everything in my life, and I'm going to come back stronger, better, Yeah, there's a Kanye joke in there, I guess, but, when you say you want to, get help for it, you're going to need it. And I think this is actually an issue that's wider than an entertainment. Because I think a lot of black people are scared to sit there and get help for mental health issues, as far as like depression or anxiety and different things like that. Because I think that we kind of feel, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think this is kind of what I've understood, I guess, growing up. But it's just that it's like, black families don't really understand the whole concept of, anxiety or depression and stuff like that, because it's something where it's well, go do something that makes you happy. I mean, yeah, you can go do that and you can change everything about, your issues, but still at the end of the day, if you're thinking about the things that are making you depressed, you need more help than just, do something, to make yourself happy. And, it's just like, it's like you think that things can be solved with just appeasing a kid or something like that. That works for a little bit. But when it comes to depression, when it comes to anxiety, that stuff, it honestly needs more help than just family. You know that, I really could say that most black people won't report that they have depression or anything like that, because it honestly doesn't seem like something that we're going to run into all that often. But, depression doesn't discriminate. That's the one thing I think you can kind of put this to. It goes across the board. Everyone has had a depressed moment in their life, trust me, whether it was the lows of losing a grandparent. I went through a little bit of depression when my grandmother passed away. And as much as I kept saying to myself, okay, she's gone, but I know she's in a better place, it still hurt, and it hurt for a couple days afterwards. And I think when it finally hit me was when, I would go visit my grandfather. and my grandfather, he's still alive. He's 97 years old. You know, he misses his wife, and to see him without her, that hurt me. You know, but it was just like, well, nah, you know, I'm not depressed about this. But inside, I truly hurt about it. And I think for Kanye, his issue is, you know, November, you know, I guess the wintertime has always been somewhat of I guess, a bad season for him. You know, he lost his mother, I believe it was in 2009, you know, to a procedure she was having done. And honestly, I guess you can say Kanye, I guess this is the way entertainment is kind of put it, but Kanye started acting out a lot more. You know, he was doing more outlandish things, saying things out of his mouth and stuff like that. I mean, it's nothing different than what Kanye has been saying, but it's the stage on which he does it. You know, when um, when the thing with Taylor Swift happened in 2009, you could tell there was starting to be an issue. What had happened was he had honestly, I don't want to say honestly, like everybody knows it, but I think the story was that he had been drinking during the ceremony anyway, before it had even happened. And, you know, it just goes on up to, I guess, this year with the whole Jay-Z thing, saying that we're not going to get Watch the Throne 2 because, you know, he feels like it's some bullshit, and, you know, that North and Blue Ivy haven't played yet, and, you know, Jay hasn't spoken to him in months and stuff like that, and saying that, you know, Jay don't want to do this and that because he don't want to offend Meek Mill. That's why the verse for Pop Style wasn't on Drake's album. So it's just like Kanye has had these moments and everything boils up and over to it. You know, he puts so much into what he does as far as like his music, as far as the clothing line, as far as even the direction of his tour. You know, having producer for a tour and everything, and you know, you see him got the mosh pit up under the stage and stuff like that. That's extensive work, and this is stuff that you got to do city to city to city. You're sitting there performing for an hour and a half to 2 hours before then. I mean, you know, and then for the most part, it's back-to-back nights. And it's like, you know, does Kanye give himself a break? You know, he had a small break when the robbery happened over in Paris with Kim and all of that. But it's just like Kanye just kept working and working and working, and you know, even after he had finished The Life of Pablo, he started talking about doing TurboGrafx 16, which remains to be seen if that's actually going to be released this year. I highly doubt it. But it's just like his mind just keeps going, and I think the only reason he works like that, and I've seen this before with other people, Kanye works like that because it keeps the demons away from him. And I think a lot of people aren't gonna, I guess, understand the concept of that, but there's always a thought that if you keep working and you keep pushing away the thing that, you know, you feel is getting to you or attacking you or something like that, you know, it'll go away, it'll, you know, it won't get worse, it'll get better, it'll help me get over that. But sometimes it works the opposite direction. You know, you can push off getting help, you can step back from doing all of that, but you know, sooner or later it's gonna catch up with you. And honestly, I think for Kanye, he is gonna have to approach each of these demons from, you know, I still don't think he's over his mother's passing, which that's the woman that you come from, you know. That's the woman you were born from, the woman you spend most of your life with, and especially Kanye. Kanye did everything for his mother, and he still does to this day. And it's just like, you know, you see it in some of the art that he does, and like he did for that, I don't know if it was like an iOS game or something like that. I think it was for, I don't know, it was one of the songs on the album, but either way. You know, you can tell that he had, you know, he's still missing his mother, and his mother is involved in everything that he's done, you know, I guess since 2000. Really, I guess, you will say from the beginning, because he mentions his mom on the college dropout. He's mentioned his mother on almost every album, and I believe he did mention her on every album. But it's just that Kanye's got to take that. He's got to keep himself somewhat out of the limelight, which is going to be hard because he's an entertainer. And at the same time, he's married to Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian carries a certain type of, I guess, I don't want to say weight behind her as far as, like, who she is. But it's no easy route out for him. And a lot of people are trying to compare this to Cuddy's situation, which they are similar because a lot of outbursts, a lot of outlandish things like that. But it's going to be a little bit harder for him. Not to say that Cuddy's not a celebrity or superstar or anything like that. But the thing that's going to differentiate from them, Cuddy's not always in the limelight like Kanye is going to be. And I think in the end that's going to work out well for Cuddy. I mean, he is trying to put out a new album and all of that. So that's understandable and all of that he'll be somewhat to the forefront. But, just for Kanye's sake, there's no easy answer for this. It's just, they're going to have to, as far as his doctors and stuff like that, they're going to have to find something specialized for him to get over it. But I think another thing we also do need to talk about too is the stigma that, like I said earlier, blacks don't get depression, they don't get anxiety and stuff like that, and we have to put a stop to that. And I'm going to tell you, there are probably dozens more celebrities out there, African American celebrities, that are dealing with this, situation, dealing with the way that Kanye feels, dealing with the way that Cudi feels. But we are always taught that, that's not something that happens to us. And I think that has to go away because if this, this shouldn't have gotten as far as it did for Kanye. But part of that was Kanye's own ego. And like they say, he did go out, I guess, kicking and screaming or whatever, when they went to take him in for the evaluation and all of that. But it's just that you cannot, I guess the best way to put it is you cannot say that you're above being helped. Because everyone needs help with depression, no matter your age, your race, your, religion, your sexuality, all of that. There is help for you out there. You just have to find it. And if you ever feel that deep down where it's like, you want to commit suicide, you have these different feelings. You need to talk those out with someone. Don't let those just sit there and build up and bubble up, and to the point where when you do go to get help, it's too late. And, drastic measures have to be taken where you're, put, I guess, I don't want to say in a mental institution, but, where you need specialized care and stuff like that. But, I think a lot of people don't want that help. One, because they think it's expensive or something like that. No, most insurance companies will work with you to try to get, a grasp on things, because they don't want you in a position like that either. But, it's just, I don't know. It all depends on the person, and it all depends on your ego. And sometimes you have to check your ego at the door and just understand that you need help and that it's okay that you need help. And, Kanye's going to find that out over the next couple of weeks. I don't expect to hear from Kanye. I mean, he may put out a statement or something like that, but I don't expect to see him publicly for a little while because, honestly, the limelight is the last thing that he needs right now. But, that's just my opinion. I know everybody's going to differ on it, but, I think we can all agree that it's a good thing Kanye is getting help. And, hopefully he'll be back to being himself. I could care less right now if the man ever made another album because, as a person, you want somebody to have a long life. Enjoy the 2 kids that you just had within the last 5 years. And, it's just, it's a sad case, but, he'll find his way back. And, I think a lot of it, he's gonna have to seek counsel from friends as well. I think at the end of the day, Jay-Z wants to say something to him, but at the same time, it's just like, Jay wasn't the right person to sit there and say, okay, Kanye, you need help. Because Jay is his mentor. Jay is, well, okay, I guess you can say one of his mentors. But Jay's not going to sit there and tell somebody when they need help. But when Kanye gets that help, he's going to see that what Jay has been doing. Jay's been keeping quiet. Jay's been keeping Blue Ivy away because, you know, you want to take your kid around basically somebody that needs help. But, that's another story for another time. And I think eventually they're going to work things out. I don't think that their relationship is strained by any means. It'll get back to being alright. But, yeah. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to my opinion on all of this. I know it's a long video. I've been sitting here rambling, but it's been on my chest for the past couple days. So, anyway, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Anyway, peace and love. And like I say, if you need help, ask for it. It's okay. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.